The Pittsburgh Steelers have made many roster changes within the last few days, and it all started when they went out and signed free safety Chuck Clark to replace Minkah Fitzpatrick. And then today, the Pittsburgh Steelers also released Cordarrelle Patterson, running back, and also another player as well. But first, before I get more into it, however, and the introduction to Chuck Clark, make sure you subscribe to the channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news and updates. Also like this video. Now, let's get right back into it. So, ever since the Pittsburgh Steelers traded away Minkah Fitzpatrick to the Miami Dolphins for Jalen Ramsey, we've been wondering who's going to be the replacement for Minkah Fitzpatrick. Who are the Steelers going to go out and sign at the free safety position? Is it going to be Justin Simmons? Is it going to be a different player? Well, it is a different player. And that player is Chuck Clark. And Chuck Clark is a player who the Pittsburgh Steelers are very accustomed to because he is a former Baltimore Raven who they had to face twice a year and has seen a lot within the past few years. So the Pittsburgh Steelers get a player who's used to the rivalry, used to AFC North football, and a veteran in Chuck Clark who can move all around the safety area and also into the box if needed. Because he is versatile and he's been used in many different ways as a Swiss Army knife in multiple defenses. And he's been in this league a very long time, at 30 years old, being drafted all the way back in 2017. So Chuck Clark, he's entering his 9th season in the NFL after spending his first 6 seasons with the Baltimore Ravens, as I mentioned. And that means that he knows the grit that it takes to play in the AFC North and the bruising it takes to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. So Chuck Clark, he joins many other Ravens who the Pittsburgh Steelers have gathered onto their team. As we know, we have DeShon Elliott, a former Raven. We have Patrick Queen, a former Raven. We have Jeremiah Moon, a former Raven. And we've just been adding a lot of former Ravens to this team. And I guess it's because the Pittsburgh Steelers just know that they're getting players who know the rivalry, know what it takes to be in the AFC North, and played hard-nosed football. And when you're getting Ravens players, you know that's a good player. So Chuck Clark, he comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and last year he started in all 12 games he appeared in for the Jets, and he came in with 2 pass defense, a forced fumble, and 69 total tackles and a sack last season. And he was a full-time starter as well for the Baltimore Ravens in his final 3 seasons there. In total, he has 75 career starts, 5 interceptions, 34 pass defense, 6 forced fumbles, 2 defensive touchdowns, and 4.5 sacks, with 453 total tackles in his career. He is listed as 6 feet tall, 209 pounds, and he's quite fast as well because he ran a 4.54 second 40-yard dash. So he is older now, and maybe his play has dropped a little bit, but he's still a player who is very versatile and can do a lot of things for defense. He played most of his snaps at the free safety position throughout his career, but also almost played just as much at the strong safety position as well. So he's able to move from either safety role and be versatile in that regard. But then he's also played quite a few snaps as well, like half of what he's played at free safety and strong safety into the box. So he's a player who can move all around this defense. He could be the player to roam the field, play the back end, but also move up and make the hard hits, make the tackles that are needed. So Chuck Clark comes to the Pittsburgh Steelers as a versatile player and kind of a backup replacement for the free safety role. And when you look at Chuck Clark being added to this team, it's probably going to be in rotation with Juan Thornhill as the other starter next to DeShon Elliott. So Chuck Clark is added to his team, and it's a great addition. And let's see if the Pittsburgh Steelers are done making moves or if they go out and sign another player, whether that's a safety or a different position. But this is the signing that the Pittsburgh Steelers did this week. Now, moving over to the next move the Pittsburgh Steelers have made, and this move came today. It was the releasing of Cordarrelle Patterson, the running back the Pittsburgh Steelers brought in from the Atlanta Falcons last season. So, if you remember, Cordarrelle Patterson was with Arthur Smith with Atlanta, and I guess he really liked what he brought to their offense, so he brought him over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, and as soon as that new kickoff rule changed, the Pittsburgh Steelers instantly signed him. He was supposed to be one of the best kickoff players in NFL history in terms of touchdowns and things of that nature, but he just didn't bring it on the special teams game for the Pittsburgh Steelers in his time here. He did bring some flashes in terms of playing on offense, though, especially in that Chargers game where he was able to bring a spark and run all over the field. And he was a solid player in terms of catching the ball as well in his time with the Steelers, but he was just very underutilized and not really given that much opportunity, as it should have been, because we had Najee Harris and Jalen Warren. So the Pittsburgh Steelers decided, hey, we don't need you anymore, and we're going to let you go. It's surprising, however, that it took this long. Cordarrelle Patterson has voiced his frustration in terms of not being given the opportunity last season to actually play. He's voiced on social media. He's also voiced his frustration on the Pittsburgh Steelers don't value him. Even today when he was released, he announced his own releasing, basically saying that the Steelers think that he's just washed up and not good anymore. So he obviously has some frustration with the Steelers organization in terms of how they handled him. But anyway, this releasing has came today, and it makes complete sense. Once again, he is older. He's probably in his later years in the NFL, and you're not going to give him more opportunity than you're going to give Caleb Johnson, or you're going to give Jalen Warren, or Kenneth Gainwell. So might as well just let him go, let him sign with a different team, and pay him whatever you have to pay him, and let him go to a different team and get that out of your locker room, because he wasn't participating in any of the offseason activities anyway, whether it's injury, whether it's him holding out or the Steelers not wanting him there. It's not like he participated in any of the mandatory camps or training camp thus far, so he was just kind of a distraction that's just on your roster. So the Pittsburgh Steelers finally let him go today, and that's a move that we all been waiting for and we knew was eventually going to come. But it's surprising it just took this long. He's still a very decent player in this league. He still has some explosiveness to him. He still has a versatileness to him as well, because he can play running back. He could switch out to wide receiver. He could be a Swiss Army knife for an offense. So he's still very valuable, but just not to the Pittsburgh Steelers anymore. They let him go, and this is a move that was made today. The releasing, the waiving of Cordarrelle Patterson. With this move, the Pittsburgh Steelers will save just over $2 million, around 2.3. So this is money they could spend elsewhere and saved for this season. So that move was made today. But because Chuck Clark was released a few days ago, the Pittsburgh Steelers had to make a roster space for him a few days ago. And that means that they had to release a player from their team a few days ago. And that player was Dominique Davis. So Dominic Davis was a player the Pittsburgh Steelers viewed as expendable, probably a player that was not going to make this final 53-man roster. So the Steelers viewed him as maybe a player they could add back to their roster down the line in the offseason if they want to, or to the practice squad if they want to, but not a player who's actually going to compete for a starting role or a backup role on this team. So obviously he's expendable when it comes to signing a player who's actually going to make this roster. Dominic Davis is a player who went undrafted in 2020. He's been on multiple teams, but has just never stuck with one team, or has really been never given the opportunity to be a top tier player in this league or even a backup. So Dominic Davis, hopefully with his next team, he's able to stick, but as of right now with the Pittsburgh Steelers, he wasn't. In terms of the player that he is a very athletic defensive line, but he's just very small on the defense line, standing at only 6'2", weighing 326 pounds. So Dominic Davis, he's a player who the Pittsburgh Steelers just cut a few days ago. So just to recap, the Steelers go out and sign Chuck Clark at the free safety position, but also just a Swiss Army knife for defense, and then also release and waive Cordarrelle Patterson, and then release as well Dominic Davis. So those are the three moves the Pittsburgh Steelers have made within the last few days, and they have made many roster changes. Anyway, that's in this video, but let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. Your thoughts on the addition of Chuck Clark? Is he the safety that you wanted the Pittsburgh Steelers to add to this roster, or were you hoping for someone else like Justin Simmons? Or Do you think the Pittsburgh Steelers are not done making moves and can still go out and sign another player as well? And who do you want that player to be? Also, what are your thoughts on Cordarrelle Patterson being released by the Pittsburgh Steelers? Did you want him to stick around, or do you know his time was up, just like I kind of knew? Leave me your thoughts in the comments below on that releasing, and also Dominic Davis if you have any thoughts on that as well. And also, make sure you subscribe to this channel and turn notifications for everything Pittsburgh Steelers news, updates, highlights, analysis reports, everything covering the Steelers team. I have it for you on this channel. And also, if you want all the sneak previews and highlights into training camp that you can't find nowhere else, it will be on this channel when training camp for week 2 starts up tomorrow. And all the first 4 days of the first week are already on the channel, so go ahead and check that out. So subscribe to the channel, like this video, comment down below, turn on notifications, and until the next video tomorrow, I'll see you guys all later. That's it for me. I'm out. Peace.